Well, it's a lot less stressful for me when I'm not wondering how am I going to pay everybody. That's never fun. Yeah, I think I get more like job satisfaction and be like, okay, here we had this thing, we tried this thing, this is how it turned out, and this is what we did. Like, it's a very clear picture now. It's way better. My name is Sarah MacGregor, and I am the COO of the Happy PharmD. So I keep everybody organized and make sure that everything we're doing stays on track and keeps moving forward. The Happy PharmD is a career coaching company specifically for pharmacists. It was a roundabout way. It was like a friend of a friend of a friend heard that Alex was looking for someone to keep him organized. So I just kind of fell into that, and it evolved since 2019. One of the main problems we were having was that we were discovering problems with fulfillment that we didn't realize were there. And starting in the fall, we started having like great waves of refund requests. And there was a whole bunch of people that we discovered that hadn't kept good track of, and they had fallen off the map, and they weren't achieving the successes that they were trying to achieve. And we didn't find out until later. So that plus the refunds, and then discovering that a few of our coaches were maybe not up to snuff as a result, and it turned into this big snowball of not good stuff that we discovered and had to try to fix. It got really tough when it was like one after another. We just kept getting hit with it and hit with it and hit with it. And we're like, oh no, like how do we not know this? No, I mean, it's great that we found it because now we can fix it. But oh my gosh, like I felt bad for like leaving these people in it so that they didn't get the successes that they wanted to. We don't want to be providing shoddy service, of course. And then it got a bit scary because it was getting really bad for a stretch of time. And, you know, we had a bunch of emergency funds for the company and stuff like that, but we were whittling away through those pretty fast at the end there. We're like, oh my God, are we going to be able to keep going? We have to really figure this out to do a complete change to get back on track. Clearly defining a much better, I'm not going to say an offer, but like changing the way that we were fulfilling the coaching completely so that it works. It's the best scenario for our clients. That took some doing. We knew something needed to be different, but we didn't know what. So once we figured that out, well, then a whole bunch of other things fell into place as well. So that was like the biggest problem that we fixed. It made us really look at all of our expenses. So we chopped out, things that weren't necessary. And unfortunately, that included some people that weren't pulling their weight. And so once we kind of cleared that up, the company made up of the people who really wanted to make a difference and were really dedicated, then that really made things a lot easier. And then from there, then we could start to build the team back up again with the right kind of people that we wanted and that we needed that had the same values and goals that we had. In those first few months before we were working together, we weren't changing the coaching itself. We were just trying to figure out the wrong things, like, well, how can we get more leads? And then how can we get better leads? Because the salespeople were complaining the people they were talking to weren't good leads and, stuff like that. We were looking at the wrong problem. It's exhausting. It's hard to keep track of when there's so many different things going on, because then if something even blipped up just a little bit, we didn't know what it was that worked. Or was it just a fluke? It was very willy-nilly and chaotic. It was very chaotic. It was a relief to have Alex on board with like, okay, we're going to focus on the one big thing only. And you can still keep churning out these ideas and we'll put them in the parking lot and we'll come back to it. But we were willing to just focus on the one big thing that we needed to focus on. It was just, I work better that way when it's less chaotic and so many thousands of things going on at once. I mean, I'm always working on it still, but I have gotten much better at figuring out what to track so that we can actually measure things and see what the results are and then take action from that. It's an ever-evolving task, but but I think with your help, I've gotten much better at looking at the right things or coming up with new things that will give us some more useful information so that we can make good decisions going forward. I mean, I want to say the same thing just because I'm such a geek. I like the organization of numbers and charts and all that kind of stuff. So it gives me great satisfaction to see all those things tell a story and then I can do something about it. Yeah, I like that. We were tracking some things, but it was always, I don't think it was the right things. It wasn't telling us anything useful. So then the decisions that we're making were just knee-jerk reactions that we thought maybe was based on something, but it really wasn't. By getting that all sorted out, now Alex's time has been freed up a lot, which is great because he's such a creative guy and he needs that space to be able to focus on the creating and the ideas, coming up with all the different ideas. We're not going to do them all, but he finally has that space available that he can do that, what he's best at. And then he really loves to teach, which he's also awesome at. So he's got more time to spend and focus on the things that he does the best and likes the best. Well, it's a lot less stressful for me when I'm not wondering how am I going to pay everybody. That's never fun. Yeah, I think I get more like job satisfaction and be like, okay, here we had this thing, we tried this thing, this is how it turned out, and this is what we did. Like, it's a very clear picture now. It's way better. It's not like it was mysterious before, but the whole coaching side is something that I've never been very involved with. So it was like, oh, stuff is going on over there. It's just happening, and what's going on? Like when something goes wrong, I had no idea what's going on, but that's not the case anymore. So I've gotten more involved in everything and how they all work together. There's still some team building that I would like to have, like another salesperson and another coach. So, I mean, if we can keep going on the trajectory that we're going and be successful, then we can have those things. We will need those things. But I don't want these big important things like sales or even the coaching to always be resting on one person's shoulders. So I'm looking forward to be able to have this really great and robust team that can handle everything that's going to be coming our way. It was a few months before we hit that everything's probably okay mode. It was probably, I don't know, I'm going to say at least 3 months. So like January, February, March, where we're like, we can trust this now. I think we've got it. We just got to keep making it better and working on it. But yeah, I think that's when we started to feel like, okay, we made it. Yeah, it's been a lifesaver. To have that help to find and then maintain the focus is just so helpful. Are you willing to change? Because probably if you're at that point where they're looking for help, they're going to have to do something differently than what they're doing already. And obviously they just don't know what that is. So be ready. Don't resist. Just go for it.